Yo, what up everybody, it's your boy Taz and welcome back to another one of my YouTube videos. Now what I have on the agenda for y'all today is going to be very spicy. I'm going to be revealing to y'all the secrets of how to win your Pokemon Wi-Fi battles all the time. Now these secrets have been locked away in a vault for thousands of years, but I'm going to be revealing them today for your viewing purposes. So get your pen and papers ready, because I'm about to drop some truth. Now all you got to do to win your Pokemon Wi-Fi battles is to think up of the 6 most annoying Pokemon you've ever faced in any tier and put them on a team together. For me, that's how this team came to be. Let's start off with Urshifu. Now, ever since its introduction into the game with the Isle of Armor DLC, Urshifu has been a staple on almost every single OU team that I've ran into, forcing me to have a counter for this thing in mind, even when I'm trying to build a fun and janky team. Now, he's not that hard to counter, mind you, but the fact that I still have to keep this thing in mind is exactly why he's on this team. I'm running this thing with max attack, max speed, jolly nature. I slapped a charged scarf on him because I like going zoom instead of brat tat tout, if that makes sense. Basically, he has high enough base damage. He doesn't need the ban. I prefer outspeeding things anyways. Now I got Wicked Blow in close combat on this thing for some good stab damage, some big stab damage. And I got the U-turn to switch in and out of things. You know, I'm fastening everything else, so why not? And then finally, I got the Poison Jab in case I need to deal with Fairy types. Most of the time, probably not, just because he has times for a weak to Fairy, but it's always nice to have. Now, next up, we got the Zeraora, who's on this team for a lot of the same reasons that the Urshifu is. If you don't have a way to counter this thing on your team, he's going to run a translated team. That's just how it is. Now, just like Urshifu, I'm running this thing with max attack, max speed. I got the Life Orb on this guy, jolly nature as always, because I love going zoom. I got the Plasma Fist on it for some good stab damage. I got close combat for some big damage. I got Play Rough to be able to deal with like fighting types, dragon types, dark types, whoever else I want to deal with. And I got the Volt Switch, stab damage, and also I can get the team switch momentum going. I can keep it going. Now next up we got the Magearna. Now everybody knows about this thing. This thing is broken and it belongs in Uber, but for some reason it's still in OU. And for as long as it's in OU, it's free real estate, baby. I'm free to use this thing, and I'm going to use this shamelessly. Now, the name of the game with this thing is to set up. I'm running this thing with practically max special attack and some HP and speed investments. The speed investments is there so that once I set up a shift gear, I'll be able to outspeed a Cinderace and take it out with the stored power, hopefully, if everything goes well. I got the Calm Mind of the shift power, like I mentioned, because setup is the name of the game. I got Draining Kiss for some nice stab damage that also heals you, which is amazing, especially once you get like Calm Mind and then maybe like a Soul Heart boost, bro. That Draining Kiss heal is amazing. And then finally we got the stored power, because obviously why not? You were setting up anyways, so why not use that power to your benefit? Now next up we got the heart and soul of the team, and then one exception to the rule that I mentioned previously, my personal favorite, the Pelipper. Now all you really need to know about this thing is Choice Specs Weather Ball, which in the rain with stab is 200 base power, man. It slices through everything
like a hot knife through butter.
I also got Hurricane on this thing because it never misses in the rain. Nice to have some nice stab damage. I got Surf whenever rain is not up, maybe. And then I got the U-turn because I love switching in and out, baby. Now next up, we got the Incineroar. Now this thing was rated by Wolfie Glake, the former Pokemon World Champion, to be the 6th most toxic Pokemon, as in the 6th most annoying Pokemon I have to go up against. Now that's an accolade, baby. Welcome to the team Incineroar. I'm running this thing with max HP and some special defense investments and some speed, because it outspeeds some things with the speed investments in there. I got the knockoff on this thing because I want some nice little stab damage, and also knockoff just hits everything super hard. I got the Intimidate on this thing, by the way, because we hate physical attackers here. The Intimidate in tandem with Will-O-Wisp just completely cripples physical attackers. I also got the Parting Shot because it's always nice to hit the special attackers as well. You know, you don't want to make them feel lonely because you're giving so much attention to the physical attackers. And then finally, we got the Flare Blitz for some nice little stab damage, bro. Some big damage. Even without any attack investments, this Incineroar hits hard, baby. And then finally, we got my personal favorite Pokemon on this team, and it's the Amoonguss, baby. Now, ever since its introduction into the game in Gen 5, I've always tried to find excuses to use Amoonguss in situations that it probably isn't the best in. But I love this thing, man. Regenerator is one of the best abilities in the game. This thing can put things to sleep 100% of the time. It has Clear Smog or Sludge Bomb, depending on what you want from your guy. And it's got Giga Drain, obviously toxic. You can just stall people. You control a lot with this thing, and that's exactly why I love it. Welcome to the team of Amoonguss. But that's the team. Let's see how they do in action. So now I got this battle here up against Chris. Now for those of you who have watched my Galarian Slowbro video, will know that I lost to Chris in that video. I also have another loss to this guy that I did not show. But we'll see how it goes. I got the Unstoppable team with me, so maybe things will be different today. So he's going to lead over the Mamoswine as I lead over with my Urshifu. I'm expecting this thing to be Focus Sash, so I'm going to go for the U-turn, but it turns out to be the Zeraora. And the U-turn just straight up OHKOs him in the first turn, which is perfectly fine by me. That's exactly what I told you. Choice Carve is probably the better option. So I'm going to U-turn out into my Zeraora as he switches out into his Mamoswine. And then he's going to switch right back out into his Rotom. And I actually misclicked here. I meant to go for the Close Combat, but I ended up misclicking Play Rough. It's not a big deal, but it did end up mattering a little bit later on in the battle, but we'll touch on that later. For now, just know I misclick. So next turn, I'm going to go for the Volt Switch and Volt Switch up out of there, because I do not want to take an overheat from this thing with my Zeraora. So I'm going to switch out into my Incineroar, who can take an overheat, but he's actually going to go for the ballsy play. He's going to go for a Volt Switch. If I had stayed in with the Zeraora, most likely I wouldn't have, but just in case I had, that would have been very bad for him. So that was a very ballsy play. A good play to him for that. So he's going to Volt Switch out into his Heracross, and I do not want to take a Close Combat from this thing with my Incineroar. So I'm going to switch out into my Amoonguss, who can take a Close Combat, and I'm going to eat that up, get some Black Sludge recovery while his defenses drop. And then I was actually expecting him to go for the Swords Dance, but he goes for the Facade. It doesn't matter. I go for the Clear Smog, -1 special defense, so I get some nice little damage off. And with the burn damage, he's almost at half, which is a nice little thing to have. So I'm going to switch out into my Magearna, expecting him to go for another Facade. But he's going to predict that, and he's going to go for the knockout. Very nice play on his part. He takes out my leftovers, though. It's really not a big deal. I can live without those. So I can live with Close Combat at this range, so he knows that. And he's going to switch out into his Magearna, because Draining Kiss at that range is an OHKO. So he's going to switch out into his Magearna to take the Draining Kiss, and he tanks it. I don't have anything to do against his Magearna. So I'm going to switch out into my Incineroar, who can deal with this Magearna, as he's going to go for another Volt Switch of his own. Good play. Again, Chris is just a really good player in general. Shout out to that man. So he's going to switch right back out into his Heracross, and he's going to go for the Close Combat and take out my Incineroar. I let this thing die, because at that range with Heracross, I can just bring in my Urshifu, especially after the burn damage. I can bring in my Urshifu and go for the Wicked Blow, Close Combat, whatever I want to go for, and just take out the Heracross, even if it's resisted hits. So I'm going to go for the Wicked Blow as he switches out into his Magearna. He knows that the Heracross is going to be valuable, so he's gonna save that thing. I'm going to get some nice damage off on the Magearna. Any damage is good damage, so I'll take that. And I'm going to switch out into my Amoonguss, who can wall this thing as well. Amoonguss is just a beast, baby. That's why I love it. He's going to go for the Fleur Cannon, get his special attack to -2, while Amoonguss is sitting there like, yeah, what else you got, buddy? He's going to switch out into his Heracross. As I go for the Spore, that's a nice play again. He knew I was going to go for the Spore, so he went out into his burned Heracross to nullify that. He's going to go for the Swords Dance, expecting me to switch out, but I expected that. You're not the only one that's predicting over here, Chris. I know what you up to. I'm going to go for Clear Smog, get some nice damage off, and nullify his Swords Dance setup. And he's, at this point, just completely gone. He's going to go for Close Combat instead of this Facade, expecting me to switch out. But, baby, Amoonguss is just too good. 1v1 this Heracross straight off the rip, baby. Amoonguss is the MVP. He's going to go for Close Combat and then die to a Clear Smog plus burn damage. Now he's going to bring out his Mamoswine, and I tell Amoonguss, hey, baby, you've done a good job. It's time for you to rest. He's going to take some Life Orb damage. I thought he was Choice Band, but Life Orb is fine. I'm going to switch out into my Urshifu, because a Close Combat is going to be able to take out that thing. But he's going to switch out into his Magearna because he wants to save the Mamoswine. Close Combat makes it a 2-hit KO, and I'm faster, obviously, so I'm going to take it out with 2 Close Combats, and that's a dead Magearna. That is a big threat. That's 2 big threats, actually. The Heracross and the Magearna, both gone, and I love it. Now he's going to bring out the Alakazam, and I'm going to switch out because I do not want to take a Dazzling Gleam from this thing. So I'm going to switch out into my Magearna, who can wall this thing. But he goes for the counter, which is a little odd to see on Alakazams, but if it works, right? So he's going to switch out into his Rotom, and I'm going to go for the Calm Mind as he switches out. Now this is where it's going to matter, because I know I can live 1 overheat at +1. But you see how his health is near full? It would have been around half if I had gotten the Close Combat earlier instead of Play Rough. So he's going to go for the overheat. I live that, and then I'm going to take the opportunity to set up a Shift Gear and be faster than this thing. So now it's time for me to go for the Sword Power, which I think is like 100 base power at this point. And if I had the Close Combat damage on this thing as opposed to the Play Rough, that would have been a dead Rotom, and actually probably would have just been like a Magearna sweep. But he takes me out with the second over. He lives, but it's okay. He's at the range where I can bring him out Urshifu and take it out with a Wicked Blow. Now this Rotom is gone, but what happens after is actually going to be a key moment in the game. So he's going to bring out his Alakazam, and the way he brought this thing in tipped me off to the fact that he is Focus Sash, but I choose to leave in my Urshifu. This probably wasn't the best play. I'll expand on that a little bit later. So he's going to live with the Focus Sash and take out my Urshifu with a counter. So he's 1 HP. I'm gonna bring in my Zeraora who outspeeds the thing. I'm gonna go for the Volt Switch and take out the Alakazam. His last Pokemon is a Mamoswine, so it's good for me to Volt Switch out into my Pelipper for free on a KO. So I'm gonna bring in my Pelipper. The raid's gonna come through, and the plan is to just kill with the Weather Ball. Brings out his Mamoswine. At this point, a Life Orb Mamoswine has the chance to kill me with the Icicle Crash. It's a roll on whether or not Icicle Crash is an Oko, and thankfully I ended up living, and I can take him out with the Weather Ball. So that's going to be a very good game, Chris. Thank you for the battle, my friend. But we're going to rewind time a little bit because there's a play that I need to touch upon. We're going to rewind back to the Urshifu Alakazam play because something happened in there that I did not want to happen. Now, right here, had I switched out into my Pelipper instead of going for the Wicked Blow, there would have been no chance for Chris to win. No rolls or nothing. Because he go for the counter, Pelipper wouldn't have taken any damage. I would have been able to go for the Weather Ball, take this thing down to his Focus Sash, and then sack the Pelipper, switch down into my Zeraora, Volt Switched to kill this thing, into my Urshifu, and then close combat the Mamoswine that came in, and 100% win the game with no chances of losing at all. It's a good thing to reflect on because it's always nice to learn from your mistakes, and then, you know, whether it comes from a loss or a win, because that's how you get better. But none of that ended up mattering anyways because I did get the win. But let's move on to the next battle. So I got a battle up here against Smart. The man goes by Doctor on Discord. This is not the type of man you want to mess with because the guy has 2 PhDs and can still bust your ass in Pokemon. So we'll see how it goes with this unstoppable team right here. So he's going to lead off with the Sharpedo as I lead off with my Urshifu. He's going to go with the Protect to get the speed boost. Unfortunately, I guess he didn't realize that Unseen Fist does go through Protects and stuff like that. It's an easy mistake to make. Urshifu is still pretty new. I've made that mistake sometimes too. So, whatever. I go for the close combat, I break through the Protect, I bring him down to his Focus Sash, and the next turn I outspeed because I'm Choice Scarf, so I'm going to take out his Sharpedo straight off the bat, and that's perfect for me. That could have been a big threat, but I took it out. Now he's going to switch out into a Cinderace. I'm going to go for another close combat. It's a roll on whether or not it takes him out. It does not, which is perfectly fine. Urshifu has done a great job, so he's going to take me out with a high jump kick right there. There was a chance he could have missed, but he didn't. So my Urshifu was going to go down, -3. I was always going to go down with a high jump kick. Even without the -3, I was going to die. Anyways, my Urshifu dies. I'm going to switch on to my Zeraora as he goes for the Sucker Punch to get some nice damage off before he dies. I went for the Play Rough here because he might have switched on into his Dragapult or something like that. I'm going to take some Life Orb damage. But speaking of the Dragapult, he switches it in this thing, which I feel like is a questionable play because, I mean, he saw me use the Play Rough. I guess he thought that Sucker Punch was going to be able to KO. But Cinderace just has a higher attack stat than Dragapult, which is why he did so much damage and he gets stabbed. Anyways, I take out his Dragapult after he fails to take me out with the Sucker Punch. That's 3 gigantic threats on his team already gone. I mean, this battle is just looking too good, man. This team is just too amazing. So he's going to bring out his Vileplume as I switch out into my Incineroar. I'm going to take that Giga Drain like it's nothing. And then he's going to switch out into a Zeraora as I go for the knockoff and just get some nice damage off. That's like 65%. That's a big threat. Again, being dealt with, man. This team is just too good. So I'm going to switch out into my Amoonguss, who's going to be able to wall this Zeraora like it's nothing. So as he goes for the Plasma Fist, I take that after Black Sludge Recovery. It does barely nothing. And then he's going to go for the Blitzkrieg. I still tank that because I'm a physically defensive Amoonguss. And I'm going to poison him with the Toxic right after. It's going to be very easy to deal with this thing now because all I really have to do is switch on to my Incineroar, get the Intimidate off, which is exactly what I do. I guess he expected me to stay in, so I get the Intimidate off. He expected me to stay in, so he's going to go for the Blitz Kick again. It's going to do nothing. -1 resisted. The Zeraora is just not going to have a good time. So I'm going to switch right back out into my Amoonguss, expecting him to go for the close combat or something like that. But he ends up going for the Plasma Fist. I'm guessing he has Blaze Kick in place of close combat. But it doesn't matter. -1 Plasma Fist resisted on a physically defensive Amoonguss is not going to do anything, man. And then I'm going to switch right back out into my Incineroar, get the -2, and let Poison take this thing out because I do not want any damage on my Amoonguss, and Regenerator can just get it back up to full. So he's going to go with the Plasma Fist as I switch out into my Incineroar. I guess he was predicting that. Good play on his part, but his Zeraora is also going to go down. That's 4 big threats on his team already gone. Now he's going to bring out his Vileplume. We're going to speed things up here a little bit because the rest of the battle is really not that big a deal. I mean, it's just literally me securing the W. I have 5 Pokemon alive. He has 2. This Vileplume is almost going to die to the Incineroar. I'm going to get some Flare Blitz damages off as he keeps Trend Sapping. So I'm going to let my Incineroar die to Flare Blitz Recoil. And yeah, the battle's pretty much over. I'm going to switch on to my Pelipper, take this thing out with a Weather Ball because, yo, Choice Specs Weather Ball, baby. He's going to switch on to his Magearna, which is his final Pokemon. Choice Specs Weather Ball is going to do about 60%, 70%. He's going to take me out. And then I'm going to switch out into my Zeraora to finish the game. So that's a good game, Mark. Now, this is a short compilation of just battles that I won with this team. If you guys want to check out this particular game with the Mungus and the Steelix, my opponent Voltage, he uploaded the battle on his channel. You guys can go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, that's the video. That's the team. I had a total of 8 Wi-Fi battles with this team, and I only lost 1. I'm not going to be showing that loss in this video because I have that battle saved for a different video with a different theme. But if you guys want to win in OU, this is how you do it. You take the 6 most annoying Pokemon, you put them on a team. If you guys want to use this particular team, I'll leave a link to the Pokepaste in the description. But that's it for me today. I'm out of here. Bye.